they could care less if you process, if your business fails, if it flourishes, because they're not connected to that.
Yeah.
I'm KhaazRa, and I'm here with my man William. William is the drop shipping prince of Miami, and so we want to talk about just some of the things that you've done with drop shipping, some of the, let's call them trials, tribulations, some of the highs, some of the lows. You know, everybody, you know, Amazon, from what I read, had 47% of all online sales last year. So that shows that more and more people are buying online. My wife, everything that I'm wearing, that I have on my body was purchased online. Like everything. She even picked out my ring. I don't even know how you do that online, but she picked up my ring, she bought this. So everyone's buying online. Not just airplane tickets, but you know, products, nutritional products, health products, beauty products, clothes, shoes. You can buy hoverboards too, right?
Oh, anything.
Anything. Anything online. So, and there's a skill set to doing that, right? It's truly like running a business where you have to understand what the people need, what they want, and then I guess how, and then also to find the people who want that particular product, and then to be able to give them that product in, I don't know, let's call it a business way where it gets, you know, shipped to them. And there's, you know, a whole lot with that because, you know, shipping is not necessarily something that you do, but you have to make sure the product gets shipped to them.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So what dropshippers have told me, or just people online in general, have told me that the one major issue that they have is the payment processing side. That's like the big thing. Once you get the skills, that's the big thing, is the payment processing side. So William, so tell us then, what were some of your, first of all, tell us how long you've been drop shipping, right?
All right, yeah, so I've been drop shipping since my senior year in high school. I had worked at a burger place and I quit after about 4 months, and I told myself I'm never working at one of these places ever again. And so I started doing research online of ways to make money online, and I just like spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos. I'd just play video games and I'd have an hour-long YouTube video on dropshipping open. And I just started like learning, picking up everything I needed to know, and I decided to start throwing a store together. And I failed miserably the first time. I didn't get a single sale, and that was one of the saddest like days of my life because I was so excited to like start making my own money.
Now,
and
let me ask you a question. You said that you've been doing it since high school. Are you in college now, or what?
Yeah, so I am now going into junior year in college at the University of Miami.
Okay. And you're drop shipping right now.
Yeah. So I'm drop shipping now. Like the store after that I tried to make was successful, and then from there I just kept like honing my skills. I met my current business partner at the University of Miami, and I mean I've never looked back. Like it's been a fucking great time.
So how did you just like pick it up, like you just kept trial and error? Like how did you hone in on your skills to get where you are now?
Well, basically just always have to keep learning, especially with drop shipping. It's constantly evolving. It's getting harder and harder as more and more people try to start, as like the word gets out. So you have to be more and more creative with the ways you advertise the products you sell, and the way your store is made. And so yeah, it's a process of, with, you know, you can find anything online on YouTube, on Google. Like you're one Google search away from like making a ton of money.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's, as long as you have a computer with internet access, you can make more money than you've ever you know thought possible just from your laptop.
Let me ask you a question. So, like, and you don't have to give us exact figures, Like, what are some of the numbers that, on average, that you do? What's a not good month? No, forget not good month. What's a average month and what's a great month?
So an average month, I mean, well, it's hard to say because we've been scaling very consistently until we ran into problems this summer. But during the school year, when I was taking classes, we were averaging about 3 to 5K a day in sales. And then once summer started, I got out of classes, and then me and my business partner, we just, really sat down like for days on end and grinded. We were doing between 15 and 30K a day in sales. And that was until our payment processor shut us down. And then at that point, we were doing 0K a day in sales. And then this man came along, saved the day. I don't know what we'd do without him.
Okay, hey, appreciate that. So I'm just gonna add that up, man, because I like those numbers. Did you say 15 to 30K a day?
Yeah.
Damn. So let's just, in the middle, let's just say 25, just
20,
for numbers'
yeah.
sake. So 25 a day, it's normally 30 days in a month. So man, that's right?
Yeah.
Wow. 750K per month.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good, right? That's super good.
Yeah. And my parents don't even know how much I do.
Really?
Yeah. They would be, I don't know, if they see this video, they'll
like, no more help, no more nothing, right?
Yeah, they'll be blown away probably.
Man, that's freaking good, man. So just you and your partner, Noah.
Yeah.
Right? And how long, so is it, so basically about 3 to 4 years to really, because a lot of people think that you can start something and boom, magically you're going to get it in a couple months or 6 months, and then they get discouraged, they quit. But I haven't seen anybody successful like that. So this has been like a 3-4 year kind of thing?
Yeah. So it's about 3 years. And it's just it's gotten up. Like my first store failed. My second store actually did fairly well. And especially for like a high schooler, I was like, wow, I'm doing I did my top was like $1,000 in a day. But for a high schooler, I was like blown away that this is possible.
Yeah.
And then the problem is I got lazy, and that was like my biggest learning experience. I got lazy. I kind of stopped because I was like, wow, I have like a lot of money now for a high schooler.
For a period.
And so
Right. Right.
And then I started college, and I'm out partying. I really neglect putting the work I should have put in. And then the end of first semester freshman year of college, my bank account was at like -200 or something like that. I was in serious trouble, and I said, all right, you need to turn something around. But the problem was I couldn't even open a Shopify store because I didn't have any funds in my bank. I couldn't even buy the basic Shopify plan.
Okay.
And so I was like, I didn't know what to do. And then on it was on New Year's, I happened to check my Coinbase, the Bitcoin account, and someone had sent me $400 worth of Ethereum. And I couldn't figure out I couldn't know who it was because it's Ethereum. It's not trackable.
Okay.
And so I just see that it's I'm I can't give it back to them because I don't know who it's sent from. So it was I didn't have to feel bad about keeping it.
Okay.
And so I take that money and I'm like, all right, I'm plus 200 now.
So Ethereum, man. So you dabble a little bit of everything, huh? Give me 1 second.
Well, yeah, I actually I just happened to invest in Bitcoin when it was at 1,000, and then I sold it when it was at 9,000. It ended up going to 17, I think. Okay. But I mean, that was still 900% profit, so that was pretty cool.
So you won with the whole Bitcoin thing before it went.
Yeah, I sold it 2 months before the crash.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like a hunch.
Well, I had just been seeing it all over Twitter, and so I
you would get rid of this.
I was Well, that's when I invested in when I saw all over Twitter, and then I just like was like, wow, it's keep going up, and then I kind of got to the point where I was like, it shouldn't be going up anymore. Like this seems like too good, too good, and so I figured it's gonna pop at some point.
At least you were watching it.
And and then like 2 months later, but.
So basically, you got this Ethereum money.
Yeah.
And then you don't know where it came from. It's almost like somebody just left money under your door.
Yeah.
Right? And so you took that money and then reinvested it.
Yep. And opened a Shopify store. And yeah, and then at that point, like it started working for me. I was doing nothing crazy, but for a college kid, like it was definitely enough to like, keep me going. And then it wasn't until my sophomore, so this past year, that me and my business partner, who he lives with me, we decided to work together because we realized that we had pretty much the opposite skill sets that like complemented each other, like yin yang type of thing.
That's good, yeah.
And because like I'm not that good at Facebook ads, but he's a Facebook ad god.
The god.
And
yeah.
Okay. I mean, Noah Tucker knows Facebook ads. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then, but he's one of the worst I've ever seen at design. Like it is like horrible. It's embarrassing, like horrible. And so like I really have the design like the kind of creative
creative mindset.
Yeah, mindset.
Okay.
And so when we mashed that together, it took off.
Sweet.
And we haven't looked back, yeah.
So when you took off, right, and you got to this $750K per month, what happened when you mentioned earlier, it just something crashed. Was it Shopify, PayPal? Like who was it that actually and it could have been an honest mistake. I've seen, major companies before, for whatever reason, they've had a certain number of challenges, and because they have so much volume, they didn't get shut down. In some cases, they do. So, like, if you don't have to say exactly what happened, but in a way, tell us like what happened that caused you not to be able to, basically sell online.
So basically, as I said before, we've been doing like 3 to 5K a day.
Thank you for the juice.
You're welcome. We've been doing 3 to 5K a day, and then once summer started and I had time to work, we scaled it to like where it was like 15 to 30K a day within a week, like less, like maybe like half a week, and I think that definitely looked like really like suspicious in our payment processor. We were going with Stripe, and it looked suspicious in their minds. I don't know what really went on behind the scenes because they didn't really tell us why they shut us down.
So basically, you just start. So almost like a musician, you've been in the studio and you've been trying to sell your CDs or your online whatever, and then boom, you hit a sweet spot and you just get way more sales.
Yeah.
And they basically pull the plug because it's just you're growing too fast.
Exactly. And so then we just started. There was that.
Stripe or PayPal? It
was Stripe.
Stripe. Okay.
We had PayPal. We hadn't been using because like they're even more notoriously like.
They just hold your funds.
Holding your funds. Like PayPal is just so hard to deal with. So we had already cut that off. And so then there was like 3 weeks where we weren't doing anything in sales because we were trying to find another payment processor. And when we were doing around like 25K a day, 3 weeks is a lot of money to be losing. And that was just like,
it is. The more money you make, when you can't make it, the more money you lose.
Oh, yeah, it was, we were in so much money. And so then we were just looking around at different payment processors and like all this, we filled out an unbelievable number of forms and called in a ton of people. And then, finally we found out about you. We had heard that you support other large dropshippers doing very big numbers. And so I reached out and we just.
So what, if you can, tell us what specifically, first of all, you don't teach courses on drop shipping. You actually drop ship.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a difference out there.
Oh yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. No.
So what got to if you can, in a roundabout way, what got you to the point where, so Stripe, Square, PayPal, anybody, they have this thing out there called Match, where they can actually put someone on it without even telling them why. I've seen it happen before. And when you're on this list, you can't go anywhere supposedly, right? It's almost like being blacklisted or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, it's almost like going to court. No, I'm sorry, not going to court. It's almost like going to jail, and then they tell you, you know what, we'll tell you why once you get to court. And you're like, well, why am I being locked up? Well, we'll let you know, kind of deal. What kind of transpired to make that happen?
Yeah, well, the thing is that we don't know.
That's crazy.
And so basically the match, it's made by MasterCard, it's the match list, and if your like name and social security on it, you're essentially blacklisted from almost all payment processors, which is why it took 3 weeks for us to find a new one. And we didn't even know we were on this list. It was about 2.5 weeks into that we got an email from one of the payment processors that we'd been applying to saying that we were on this list and we were put on it by Wells Fargo. And we had never done business with Wells Fargo. We called them, they had no information on it. And I didn't even know what the match list was at the time. I was looking it up and I'm reading that it's a blacklist from all payment processors, and I'm thinking, I'm never drop shipping again. Right. I can't, if my social security's on there and no one's gonna process my payments, then
right.
I'm screwed. That was what I was thinking. And thankfully you guys still took us in, and right. I know you're constantly working on that.
So it's interesting though that you said that, because and I wanted you to describe it, because a lot of people who are put on there sometimes, just like you just imagine, you're driving and, you go somewhere, you're on vacation, you're driving, and I don't know, you go and apply for something, and you go to the airport, and they're like, oh, you can't travel because you have this XYZ, and they don't even tell you what it is. So you've never done business with Wells Fargo before, right?
Never.
But yet you get a document that says you can't process anywhere whatsoever.
Exactly.
And they don't even tell you why. So I don't know who puts you on that list. There should be more information to that, and it's really kind of it's too expensive to hire a legal firm to figure out, because you can do that, but it's just, and a lot of times unless you find a legal firm who specializes in that, most attorneys will take your money and then try to figure it out, and just keep billing you. And also, there are a lot of sales companies out there who will say, you know what, we'll process for you, and they don't actually do the underwriting and risk in-house. And so they'll be like, there's tons of them, there's like 1,000 of them online, they're everywhere. They'll take your paperwork, you'll be excited, you order your products, you get going, they're like, oh, you can't process, right? And you're like, oh my God. So just so people that understand, we're an FSP, which stands for Full Service Provider. So everything is in-house: underwriting, risk, tech support, customer service, and we actually hold the risk ourselves. And so we looked into the information that, to which you just mentioned. There's nothing there. There's really nothing there per se. There's some stuff, but it's almost like, there's nothing tangible there that you can even actually go fight yet. So you have to consistently, fight to get the information. So that's why we say, you know what, let's board it. You know what I mean? Even though that list, we're not, technically speaking, you're not supposed to be able to go anywhere when anyone's on that list, but there's nothing there.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. So, man, we feel good about it. I'm here with you because we also like to build personal relationships with you as well. And we want you to scale and grow without having those issues. We want you to have next day funding. We want you to be able to scale to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever it is you want to do. And we support you in that process. We have a chargeback prevention program if that ever becomes an issue, because just face it, even Disneyland has chargebacks.
Yeah.
Universal, everybody. I live behind Universal Studios in Orlando. Like, I could throw a rock and hit it.
Yeah.
I know they have chargebacks. You know, I can hear grumbles sometimes of people who are just not satisfied. I don't know who's not satisfied with Disney, but some people just, for whatever reason, aren't happy or whatever with the Universal Studios or whatever. So everyone has chargebacks. I think that some companies may get a pass, you know what I mean? And then some companies just do so much volume at the same time, and they have so much money in the banks as well. Matter of fact, it's interesting that you said Wells Fargo, because you can look this up online. I'm not saying anything that's like secretive or anything like that or private information, but Wells Fargo has been penalized in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 times for, what's the word that I can use without getting in trouble? I don't want to say fraudulent activities, but opening of payment processing accounts without approval, overcharging people. I mean, they've been penalized so many times, and it's all over the news. You can just look it up yourself. Wells Fargo, ugly practices, whatever term you want to use. So it's kind of surprising that they would be the ones issuing out these, these lists.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
super interesting.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we used to, and this is not an attack on them, but we used to kind of work under their auspices a little bit, and man, we had to get away from it. We had to get away from it. Yeah, it was just certain things that were just unexplainable, that we didn't agree with, and that, we like to sleep well at night, and that we like to do business in an ethical way. And it's not that it's not like they were letting us get over on anything. It's just some of the other things that we saw that we didn't agree with. So we had to move away from that, and that's another reason why we became an FSP, so that we could do everything in-house as opposed to having people look over your shoulder and monitoring you who probably need to be monitored themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good, man. So we're happy to hear that. What's in your plans for the future? Like, now that you're good to go, you got some momentum going. What are your plans in terms of the business and scaling? And do you see yourself drop shipping for another year, 2 years, 3 years? Like, what do you see yourself doing now?
Yeah. So basically, now that we're like back in business, right now we're scaling. I'm going to be going to Australia and Bali for like the next month and a half. But
nice.
After that, we're...
You going to work while you're out there? Or just,
yeah.
Not all day, but just here and there.
No, yeah. We're definitely have to work. But then once we get back, we might start looking into finding an office and hiring people, because now that we have a payment processor we know we can trust, we need to, and we'll be scaling this next month and a half. We're going to need to have people working under us, because we just simply can't manage to, all, like, I know drop shipping is known as, just work from your laptop, but if you're doing that kind of numbers, you can't realistically maintain that without having, a team under you, even if it's only, 1 or 3 people at first.
You got to run it like a business.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. And, I don't know, people always say like, oh, drop shipping won't last forever. And I really don't know if it will. It probably won't. But at this point, it's working for us. And we're just going to try to, generate as much revenue as we can. And then, after that, we can invest it into, businesses, like other non-drop shipping businesses, or, we're talking a lot about putting the money into properties.
Okay.
Things that are more, really long-term, that have been around for a while.
So why do people say that drop shipping won't last? What are some of the reasons why they would say that?
They say that because, like, it's just such a new model, that it's really only been around, a few years. And now with so many people trying to get into it, the word's getting out, like, oh, drop shipping, easy money you can do from your laptop. It really is, like, it's one of those things where, like, it actually kind of is easy money that you can, if you're successful. And so, like, everyone is trying to do that. So there's way more competition now, and like even like Facebook ads are getting more and more expensive because so many people are just willing to pay for them, so that brings the price up. And and people they're starting to catch on. If you use like a basic Shopify theme that like everyone else is using, people are like, consumers are getting smarter, and they're kind of like seeing that, like, oh, if like they saw like 5 different stores with the exact same theme, like something's weird about that.
Right.
You know?
You know what? I'm glad you said that because this is what I see, and this is in every industry. So, the funnel software, right?
Yeah.
And the funnel hacking term, and I think some people have taken funnel hacking to funnel copying, right?
Yeah.
And it could be like a salesperson, it's like, oh, he's saying the same thing, is she saying the same thing? And if everybody's doing the same exact thing and there's no real way to distinguish yourself, like you could be selling, you could be the camera person, the video person, and if you are doing the exact same thing that someone else is offering without nothing different, then right, you're not going to differentiate yourself, right?
Exactly.
Drop shipping, I've seen, not just drop shipping, but online sales, people who are selling courses. I mean, it's super hard to tell what's good, what's real, what's valuable from, the copycatters out there.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I think would distinguish people is by not copying, right? Even, I know some people they say success leaves clues, but I think some people literally try to copy people, right? Copy the way they talk, copy the way they dress and all the other stuff. And it's like, man, I just go to the real thing for that, if you're just gonna be a replicate or whatever. I think that if you can differentiate yourself, like there's some website that I see, I won't buy from them because it looks so janky.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, is this like a template? Like you didn't even change the bottom of it. Like, it says template on there, right?
Yeah.
Change the bottom. So I think the businesses that are going to be around for a while in any industry, not just dropshipping, are the ones that actually really distinguish themselves. They make a connection with their clients. I know with dropshipping, it's a numbers thing, so you can't call everybody. Yeah. But if you have a customer service department, right, who maybe they email people, there's a software out there now where you can create a video and it'll email it to the person, not a video on your phone, but a video, it will email to the person, and it's a personalized video. Right?
Yeah.
I think that distinguishes, one company from another company. Even us, we do quite a bit of business from online, brick and mortar, you name it, we do it. But the one thing that we try to do is create a personal relationship at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. Besides the service, right? Besides, being able to do what I think 99% of other companies can't do, but to create the personal relationship. Right.
Yeah.
So I think, as long as you can do that, I think you'll be around for a while, for a good long time, because I don't see people not buying online in the future. I just think I think people are going to be more and more and more and more and more online. And to be honest with you, Amazon is not the cheapest out there at all.
No.
I figured that out. It's just maybe more known. So if you're a drop shipping company and you have a brand on top of that, I think you'll be around for a while.
Yeah, definitely building a brand out of a drop shipping company. There's like big companies that started as like Movement watches, Daniel Wellington watches, both those started as drop shipping companies.
Really?
That they were initially selling, pretty cheap watches, honestly.
Right.
But then they really focused on their marketing, and they started white labeling their products, which is when you put your own name on other products. And I know, like, when Movement first started out, people were noticing, like, hey, this is the exact same watch from AliExpress, but it says like Movement on it instead. Like that's all they changed. And I doubt they're doing that now. I'm sure they have their own facility that's making them from now because of how big they are. But it's just like an example of how you can white label a product and you can really build a brand starting out as a dropshipping company and then become like I don't know how much they're worth now, but like pure dropshipping company is worth that much. Like they did a spectacular job of really putting themselves in a position where they have like all types of big influencers like wearing their watches and doing like custom design watches and stuff like that. Like,
right. Okay.
They're really did a great, because watches is probably the most like tried product with drop shipping, and it's just so like everyone is doing it. And so to be successful selling watches drop shipping, it's really almost not possible unless you you like white label it and you really create a brand and create a story. And yeah, it's just all about like Yeah.
This branding.
Yeah,
to
brand
distinguish
it.
yourself.
Make your own. Don't just try to like make a simple store and like put an about us page on your store. Like,
Right.
just,
right.
Like give them a story. Give them like brands aren't just websites. They're people view them as like almost like human beings. Like you need to give your brand a story. You need to give them.
Right. So let them know there's some humans working over there.
Yeah. Like there's a saying like. Don't sell what you do, sell why you do it. And I really like that because if you just sell like, oh, like, look, nice watch, give them the specs. Like, no one wants to buy that.
Right.
But here's a nice watch.
This is a watch that I wore when my daughter was born. I was something like that.
Yeah. Like, you know, this watch, the design on the back was custom designed by Sam Colder, who's like a big like YouTube guy. Like, that's one of movement's things.
Distinguish yourself.
Yeah, you have to make yourself, you know, like separate from all these other like.
Let me ask you this too, real quick, before we go. When you were like, you know, going through the process of looking for a processor that you could work with, after a while, after realizing, like, you know, because every company would do an application. But then, you know, maybe you would start and then, you know, you say, oh, you can only go to this much or this much, whatever. When you finally came across, when we met, what were some of like the skepticisms that you had? Like just here's another same old thing or whatever, like?
Well, yeah, so like, yeah, we had one processor who said like we got approved and everything, and then we put in a test payment to make sure everything was good to go, and right after we get an email saying we're shut down. So like
wow.
it's like absurd what we had to go through in those like like 3-week period. I don't know, like one of the first things I noticed is that when I sent you that message on Instagram, like, hey, like we heard you do like payment processing for, you know, drop shippers, you know, receiving that personalized video message from you, I was like, all right, already I kind of knew like, okay, this is gonna be way more of a personal relationship versus, you know, like when Stripe shut us down, they didn't give us even like a real reason. They just said like,
get an email.
Yeah, it went against our terms of service, and that's all we got.
Oh wow.
We like tried emailing them, and they wouldn't even get back to us. Like, and so like already when you sent that, like I knew that this was gonna be something different, and then, you know, the way like you and both, you know, Darnell too, are so fast at answering emails, even like we were really antsy to get everything back up and running, and like I don't know, I just could tell that you guys really like cared and wanted us to get like started.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so there was not actually any point during that we've been working with you, even from the start, that I thought like, oh, these guys are the same as everything else. And yeah, you being a full service provider as well, where we knew that you were doing all the underwriting and stuff in-house. Versus we probably filled out in those 3 weeks, we probably filled out at least 10 applications.
Wow.
And especially when you're putting like your social security on it, like,
I know, right? It's like everywhere, like everybody has my
yeah, exactly. It's like you're kind of like I don't know how I feel about this, and you know people are like, maybe like 2 of them ever actually called us about it, and you could tell that they were just salesmen trying to like get us to sign up. And like with you, it was more like what are your problems and how can we fix them? Not like all of them, the other guys or the 2 other guys I talked to from other companies, they were just like, oh yeah, we can definitely get you approved. Like, let's get you signed up as soon as possible. Like, not really like trying to listen to what the actual problems that we were having were.
Like a conveyor belt, so to speak.
Yeah. They're just trying to pump everyone through.
I got you.
Interesting.
You know, I was on Instagram last week, and I saw a really nice story. And the guy was like, you know what? If you have a problem with Stripe, PayPal, or whatever, and like whoever did the story was like really good at like super creative and digital. Like the names were popping up everywhere. I was like, man, that's freaking awesome. So I tried to, you know, I swiped up. It took me forever to get to the link. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I finally got to it, and then I couldn't really get to the number on the page because the website was, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. So I tried again on the second day, and when I called, someone answered the phone. Hello? And I was like, yeah, hello. I was like, did I reach a business? He was like, yeah. What's going on? What do you need? Almost like, why did you call me this early?
Yeah.
And I heard like pots in the background and pans and stuff like that. And I was like,
Cooking
man,
breakfast.
yeah, I was like, okay. And there's nothing wrong with that because entrepreneurship is born, anywhere. It's born out of like a need. So you don't have to have a big office per se, but
Yeah.
like, maybe go to another room or something like that,
Yeah,
answer the
yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
And so and then I called the other guy who actually saw in the story, and this has been like a week and a half ago. Do you know I still have not spoken to him? I'm actually chasing him.
Yeah.
I'm literally chasing him. He sent me his number. I called. He's not available. Then I said, all right, what's another good time? So I'm like, man, is this something you do full time? Is it part-time? Like, how does someone actually get assistance? So we kind of went through that whole thing, and I thought to myself, how frustrating you must be, or you and other people, how frustrating it has to be when you try to get service, and it's with someone who's not. It's like, I'm just doing this. So if I make money from it, I make money from it.
Yeah.
If not, so what? So they're not going to really put a lot into, helping. Because I was a salesperson, and I worked at companies, and I would take paperwork and process it with someone who really wouldn't care. And I'll just say this: there's another big company out there. They're a partner of Wells Fargo, First State. I could just say the name, and they have so many people working with them, man.
Yeah.
That they are so far removed from the client experience. It's unbelievable. So they could care less if you process, if your business fails, if it flourishes, because they're not connected to that.
Yeah.
They're still going to get their paycheck.
Exactly.
And and unfortunately, that's kind of like the mindset. So that's another reason why we had to actually start this particular thing that we've started. This is like years and years and years ago, and why I like to personally get involved because I've actually been there.
Yeah.
Myself on the sales side, just as frustrated as the client because the people on the other end just didn't care.
Yeah.
So, man, this has been good, man. And so we're hoping a lot for you. What do you see? So in 6 months, I know you said you're going to go to Australia, and then you're going to go to Bali next month. So you're going to stay there for like what, a month and a half?
Yeah, it's been like a month and a half.
Okay, that's going to be freaking awesome.
Excited.
And with your laptop, you can still get things going, and you got other people doing you can still run.
Yeah,
full-fledged.
so because we have a whole team of VAs and fulfillment people.
Sweet.
We'll still be able to, as long as we have Wi-Fi that's
good to
decently
go.
fast, then we're good to go because we have other people that we pay to manage our fulfillment and our customer service.
Good. And those are some of the things that we help on the back end as well, because being that we work with probably more brick and mortar, actually, like tons of law offices, tons of grocery stores, tons of huge restaurants, tons of technology companies, and drop shipping is a business. And some people may not run it like that. Like you said, people think that they could just sit, go deep diving, and then come back up and hit a button, and it doesn't work like that necessarily. No. So on the back end, the customer service part, all that stuff is like super important, and we assist on the back end with that.
Yeah.
Especially handling customer complaints, whether it be chargebacks or sometimes maybe fulfillment may not do their job.
Yeah.
So we assist with that as well. Because it's not something that you can necessarily 100% control. So we actually on the back end sort of get involved to make sure that it doesn't go out of proportion.
Yeah.
So by the end of this year, where would you like to see yourself in terms of, it doesn't have to be just income, because I don't think everything is just money.
Oh, yeah.
So where do you see yourself what would be a great year for you? We say, I hit my goals.
A great year for me would be me dropping out of college, because there's just no reason for me to stay. That would be a great year. My parents are very, they're very traditional, so they're definitely would be fans of that. But if I'm at a point where it's just look, I'm so comfortable right now,
right.
And at this point, me being in college is actually holding me back. Just the way I always said before, once summer started and I didn't have class, I could spend my whole all day doing drop shipping and that kind of thing, and just pursuing other things that I enjoy.
Okay.
And so that would be definitely
okay.
my number one goal. Just maintaining my health and my well-being as well. I'm really into that. I want to have a very well-rounded life. Like I don't want to be just school and drop working just like nonstop because it's not healthy and it's not sustainable long term. Some people are better at it than others. I'm not good at waking up early and that kind of thing. I need my beauty sleep.
Okay.
And so and if I don't get my sleep, things just
But you said something key here right before we go. At the end of the year, if you could drop out of school, and if you're that comfortable, to me, that would be awesome. If someone could get to where that is in this short period of time, man, which there's only 1% of the population that even makes over $220K a year, right?
Yeah.
If you can get there that freaking quick, man, it'd be like 0.00001% of the population. But the other thing, though, is that the experience you would gain, whether you have made millions or not that's sitting in the bank account, the experience in itself is going to be valuable because you can start something else if you need to. You know, you can have this going, which I will focus on, but let's say for whatever reason, the internet is no longer in existence. But you have the skill sets on how to actually build a business.
Exactly. And that's another thing that
that would be another reason to drop out of school. I'm not promoting dropping out of school, but that would be another reason to drop out of school.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone pretty much in my grade, almost all of them have internships or at least summer jobs, and when people are at when my family, I'm sure, will ask why aren't you an internship and stuff I don't know, what looks better on a say drop shipping just it dies out or something, and I do have to get a job. I'd hate to, but that's a possibility.
Right.
And what would look better on my resume? Doing millions in sales with my own company, or just working at some small marketing firm or something where all I did was buy coffee for the people who work there and stuff like that. Having that real world experience, I think, would be without a doubt way more valuable than than anything like an internship or summer job.
Right. Because everyone's in college to basically learn how to work. So you're learning how to work now, and you can use the college material. Even though I know the books devalue by 99% at the end of the semester, but you can still maybe use some of that information to help you grow the business. So that's all we have for today, man. Appreciate it. Looking forward towards you growing personally and professionally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for sitting down and talking with me.
Cool, man. We definitely want to get to know you a lot more and help you grow a lot more. So there should be a link somewhere on this video. Click it, call it. Look forward to hearing from you.